Right, Paul. I'm Darryl Gates, the owner of Diamond Jacks. I've owned it for, say, 13 years or so, but I worked here before, a few years before that, and I've worked at other places before, doing apprenticing and whatever. But yeah, I've been here for like 13, owned it for 13 years, like
Yeah,
banging
yeah.
the heart in Soho, yeah.
And how did it come about? Was you did you know Ian? Because you got it off of Ian.
Yes,
Ian.
I was working for Ian K, and I was used to get tattooed by Ian. Actually, I was a customer of Ian's, and Ian K just kind of got me into tattooing, got me a break with another shop where I apprenticed, and then I ended up coming back here, um, and just worked with Ian for a few years, and then Ian decided to leave, and sold the shop to me on one condition that I'd keep all the flash, and keep the fittings and the features of the studio exactly the same,
Yeah.
and keep it as it was, and not just change it. So I did. So I took it over, and enjoyed it really. Yeah.
And
So
I think you better explain that people probably wouldn't know Ian, but they'd know the proprietor before, and that was Dennis Cockle.
yes, the proprietor before, the owner, the original owner who set the studio up was Dennis Cockle, who set it up. According to my copies of the lease, was like mid to late 80s here. So Dennis Cockle owned it, and he put this place on the map basically. Tattooed loads of all kind of everyone, from all the punks, the rockers, everyone, and this was the place to be in Soho. And even when I was a musician and hanging around Soho, I'd pop in here as well back in those days as well. So I know the studio from then, but it always had a buzz around it. So it's a great
Because,
place.
in the 70s and 80s, anyone who was anyone got tattooed by Dennis in regards to rock musicians and punk rockers, didn't they?
Yes, yeah,
The Stray Cats
yeah,
and
yeah.
Sex Pistols.
I think that Sex Pistols and Stray Cats, they're kind of synonymous with Dennis. And Dennis Cockle had his place on Finchley Road before this, and of course Lau Hardy as well was tattooing all the punk rockers as well.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of places, and London was like, must have been a buzzing place back then, you know.
And Soho, of course, you had Cash Cooper in the 60s and Charlie Bell and people
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. Cash Cooper and Charlie Bell. London's had a real kind of Soho's had a real great feeling for tattooing, and kind of just nice little places to get tattooed really.
Yeah.
So it's
And
good.
it's quite vibrant, isn't it, Soho, at the best of times
Yeah,
with that tattooing, it's...
yeah. I think Soho's is it's a community, and it's one of the last communities left in London. Everyone knows each other. All the shops know each other. The market stall guys, the sex shop guys know each other. So I think yeah, it's a real little community, and everyone it's really unusual
Yeah.
in London. But of course, being here right in the mix of it with all the sex shops and the Market Street people, all the artists and everything like that is brilliant. So yeah,
And you just said that you had to keep the shop the same.
yeah.
Obviously, you wanted to as well. Do you still get people coming in looking for Dennis's work, or are they influenced by the designs?
Um,
In a day and age when people are getting a lot of designs off the internet.
yeah,
You know?
it's interesting. I think people, the tattooists understand and know about Dennis Cockle. Going back to Tattoo Time, I remember reading about Dennis Cockle then in those magazines that Ed Hardy produced. A lot of the people getting the flash on the walls are tattooists, actually, to be honest. But more and more people are coming round to that kind of style of traditional tattooing, which is more, it's less Sailor Jerry. It's more influenced by Ed Hardy. You can see it because there was a connection with Dennis Cockle and Ed Hardy. There's a lot of energy in these designs, actually. So people are coming in gradually to get them done. But yeah, a lot of people want to get designs off the internet, and they want to have designs that someone else has got rather than be individual. They justify it by getting someone else's design. So
Yeah, yeah. And you're very much influenced in the Japanese style yourself.
yeah, the two styles I love are traditional style like this, Dennis Cockle and Ed Hardy, and Japanese real traditional style. I particularly like tattooing from the 70s. 70s and 80s, I like those two periods of tattooing, especially the late 70s. Yeah, I love Gifu Horihide. He's one of my heroes really, and someone I still love. Casio's work is amazing, amazing tattooing. And I can see that in Dennis Cockle's work as well. I can see there's a lot of influence in some of the Japanese work up here, and Ed Hardy's stuff. But Dennis, I've been around this studio. I've had this flash looking at me for years, so it's going to influence me somehow, So
Yeah,
it's good.
It's an amazing studio. How it ain't changed really.
Yeah,
You know. But like you say, it's got such a history. You don't want it to change, do you?
yeah.
And I've noticed as we've come in, and a lot of building work. Is it all sort of going now, or?
We're At the moment, this studio is staying. There's no problem. We're staying. They can't move us because my landlords won't sell the building. But around us, they are changing Soho and making it more family friendly, more coffee society as usual, like everywhere else is going, and more residential. So they're getting rid of the heart of Soho, but we're staying. So that's the main thing. We are
I remember
staying.
years ago, wasn't it a porno cinema upstairs or next door?
Yeah.
Was a porno cinema?
Yeah.
But I'm going back years.
Yeah, I think the history of this place, before it was a tattoo studio, was definitely a porno cinema. And a lot of the kind of movers and shakers at the time in Soho, actors and kind of those kind of guys, they were coming down here and they were,
you're
secret.
Right next to the Paul Raymond review,
Yeah.
aren't you? I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't get more central.
Yeah,
could you?
yeah. Paul Raymond. This whole area is full of magic. You know, so many stories, so many characters have been around here for years. You know, so
Obviously you still get the characters in, but how do you find it? Are you tattooing a lot of women? Do you get a lot of women coming here because it's in a sort of a notorious part of Soho?
yeah,
if you like, you know?
yeah. We actually, even though it's a notorious part of Soho, we actually do get a lot of women coming here. I think even the women don't want it to be too fluffy. They want to come in and come to a real kind of old school studio.
Yeah.
That's a bit edgy, you know.
I'm not being disrespectful when I said notorious, but
Yeah.
I quite like that myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's something magical about it.
Yeah. I think men and women both like it, but yeah, we do get a lot of women. Probably more. Some other shops maybe get a lot more women than we do because it's a more safer area. But there's a lot of women there that kind of just find it a bit edgy and stuff. So we still get women coming in here and everything, you know. So it's not just a boys' club, you know. I think people like Dennis and people like the old Japanese masters, people that have been involved in tattooing during the 60s and 70s, you know, they do need to get their dues always paid. I think that's really important because all these kids are coming around tracing stuff and nicking designs, and every few years there's new biker designs coming out, or this style's coming through. But you know, they really have to kind of say that they lifted stuff from these people because they made the path, you know.
Well, that's what I was finally wanting to ask you. How do you feel about all these tattoo shows, tattoo fixers, and has it been good for tattooing, or is there too much now? Has it been saturated?
All these new reality TV shows have saturated tattooing. It's lost its magic, and the customers seem to think they're more well informed than they are, and they're asking all these questions, and they're booking things online, and they want to book a back piece where they're taking photos on their phone, sending us over a back piece they've seen on someone moving as they got off the tube or something. It's all blurry, and they've seen it, and they want us to tattoo it and give them it's rather than people coming in. People have lost, you know, the impulsiveness of tattooing's gone a lot. People will only want to go to someone who's booked up for 2 years in advance because they think that's. And the reason they're booked up 2 years in advance a lot of the time is because they only do one tattoo a day, maybe. You know, it takes them that long. But you know, I was kind of brought up in the street shop of doing a lot of tattoos quickly and cleanly, and you know, and giving the customer the minimal amount of, you know, pain and anguish, really, just getting them in and out the door, you know, and that gives it the kind of excitement, you know.
That's what a lot of people don't realise. I mean, even me going back to the 70s, it'd be 15, 20 tattoos a day.
Yeah.
Now, like you say, it's one tattoo a day if they're lucky.
Yeah. They couldn't cope with it, and then they have a meltdown if they have to do more than one tattoo, which is quite funny. But it's good for the customer, but sometimes the tattoos are looking so amazingly clean, and everything looks the same. There's no excitement. You know, tattooing isn't a perfect art. It never will be. And to get that excitement, to get that feeling, you need to do it. You need to have a bit of speed to it, a bit of clout to it. Otherwise, it's going to be too just by numbers, you know. And I think that's lost it.
I used to sit in Jock's shop, mate.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a tattoo in 5 minutes, there was something wrong with them. You know what I mean? It was just in and out. You know?
Yeah.
But his customers wanted that.
Yeah.
They didn't want to sit around.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously Paul, I'm younger than you, but I got my first tattoo by Ken Rivers in Bushy. I'd like to find out what's happened to Ken Rivers.
No,
is he?
Yeah,
oh, brilliant.
It's on Facebook.
Oh, excellent. I'll have to find him. But I got my first tattoo. That was done 1988 or 89. So I was 19 and I thought I was in the New York Dolls. I was Johnny Thunder's fan and stuff like that. Walked in, got my first tattoo, and I still remember it. I still remember that whole experience, the smell, everything, his attitude. It was brilliant. You know, remember putting Savlon cream on it afterwards, everything, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget me giving people their first tattoo either, because it really does mean so much to them. You know, some shops don't. They kind of look at you and you're not cool enough to be tattooed, but they forget they started off with one tattoo
Yeah.
first.